that, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're not already in the center of your mat, meet me in the center of your mat. Legs crossed. Close your eyes. Bring your palms to the knees. Make it face up or down. Up's going to be more receiving. Down's going to be more grounding. Make sure your elbows are relaxed underneath your shoulders. Close your eyes and begin to inhale and exhale through the nose with a slight constriction in the back of the throat. Maybe inhaling for a count of 3, holding at the top, and then exhaling for a count of 3. Slowly begin to move into your child's pose. Bring the knees together, or separate the knees wide to the edges of the mat. Bring the toes together. Sit back onto your heels. Begin to hinge forward, walking your hands forward in front of you, bringing the forehead down, and just letting the nose graze the mat. Keep the elbows lifted here. You want an active child's pose. Begin to scan through your body, noticing how you've arrived on the mat today. Every time you inhale, breathe in more energy, more prana, more life force. Every time you exhale, exhale out carbon dioxide and all the negative energies that no longer serve your body. On the next inhale, push yourself up to tabletop. Check your alignment here. Make sure that the hands are directly below your shoulders. The hips are above the knees. We've got about a fist distance between the chin and the chest. The gaze is down. Spread your fingers evenly. Tuck the thumbs in just slightly to protect against your wrist joints. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the eyes and tail high. As you exhale, firmly press into the hands, round the spine, bring the chin to the chest for your cat spine. Really feeling space being created between the shoulder blades. If it feels good, maybe let your head hang and turn your head from side to side. Maybe nod your head up and down. Drop the belly, bring the eyes and tail high again. Firmly press into the hands, round the spine, come back to your cat. Go ahead and flow through this 2 more times with your own breath. Once you've met me back in a tabletop, I'll know you're ready to move on. You're going to do some lateral flexions. Begin to bring the left shoulder to the left hip, looking over that left shoulder as you do it, almost like you're making a C shape. Release, come back to center. Begin to C shape over to the right, looking over that right shoulder. Release, come back to center. Go ahead and flow through this 2 times on both sides with your own breath. Just getting some mobility going in the spine here. Coming back to a neutral tabletop position. Begin to walk the hands straight out in front of you. Make sure that the hips are directly above the knees here. We're bringing the chest straight down. You can rest your forehead on the mat or your chin on the mat. Yogi's choice. Getting a deep opening in the shoulders. Letting go of any tension or stress that we've got up here. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw and you're remembering to breathe. Focus on your breath here. Begin to slightly press into the hands. Come up ever so gently and shift forward onto your belly. Bring your arms out like goalposts. keeping the spine in a neutral position. Lift the right leg up, point the toes, bend the knee. Begin to twist your torso open to the right, bringing that right foot up and over behind you to the ground on the other side, or as close to it as you can. Still keeping both arms cactus. It's going to get a nice opening across the front shoulders, working the obliques. Twisting out our internal organs. As you inhale, slowly untwist. Come back to your belly, bringing the forehead on the mat and cactusing your arms. Let your shoulders fall heavy up towards your ears. Inhale the left leg up, point the toes, bend the knee. Twist your torso open. Bring that left foot up and over. Try to touch the ground behind you. That right cheek's coming to the mat. Check in with the breath. Slowly begin to release out, coming back onto your belly. Extending the legs long, forehead comes back to the mat. Let the shoulders fall heavy towards the ears. Bend at the knees. Flex your feet so that the bottoms of the feet are parallel to the sky. Let your legs drop off to the right and bring your gaze over to the left. On the next inhale, bring everything back to center. Let the legs drop to the left and bring your gaze to the right. Bring everything back to center. Bring your hands up underneath of your shoulders. Push yourself up to your tabletop position. Take the right leg, step it outside of your right pinky. Walk the left leg back just slightly so that you're on the top of the kneecap. We've got a little bit of a wider stance going on right here. Option to stay right here on the hands. Option to go a little bit deeper. Try to come down onto your forearms, tucking that knee in still close to the body. Getting a nice stretch in the groin and the hamstrings, maybe even the front of the thigh. Let your head and neck hang. Check in with the breath. Notice the sensations in the body. Tuck the toes of the back foot. Lift that back knee up. We're only going to hold here for a few seconds. Go ahead and release that knee down. Untuck the toes. If you're down on your forearms, come back up onto your hands. Begin to tip back slightly in the hips, and bring that other leg back, coming into your tabletop. Again, checking your alignment here in the center. Take the left foot, step it outside your left pinky, walking that right leg back just ever so slightly so that you're on the top of that right kneecap. Firmly root down in through the hands, actively pulling the left knee in towards your bicep. Slowly come down onto your forearms, still keeping that left knee tucked in tight. Let your head and neck hang. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Engage that back leg. Drop the knee, untuck the toes. If you're on your forearms, come back up onto your hands. Begin to tip back into the hips and then bringing that left knee back, coming into your tabletop. Tuck the toes, draw the belly button up in towards the spine. Really engage your core here. Lift the knees above the mat about an inch. Hold steady here. Bring your gaze slightly forward. Still drawing that belly button up and in, firmly rooting in through the hands. Hoist your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and walk your dog here. Pedal your knees left and right. Sway your hips from side to side. Check in with the breath. Find a static downward facing dog. Hold steady here. Firmly root into the hands. Make sure the weight is distributed evenly between the hands and the feet and your knees are soft. Don't worry if your heels don't touch the ground. You need to bend the knees. You can bend the knees as much as you need to here. Really shine the sit bones high. Make sure the neck is a natural extension of the spine and your gaze is up towards your belly button. Inhale the right leg up. Keep the hips square here. Play around with flexing the toes in towards your nose, pointing the toes. Maybe making circles with the ankle. Maybe going in the other direction. Bend that right knee. Bring that right foot to your left glute. Again, maybe making circles with the ankle. Big circles with the knee. Reach that right leg up to the sky again. Really point those toes. Step it through your two hands. Drop the back knee and foot down. Engage the core, round up to your crescent lunge. Biceps are framing the face and the gaze is forward. Actively reaching towards the sky here and finding length in the side body. Maybe give me a slight back bend here. Inhale again to find more length. As you exhale, cactus your arms. Lead with the chest. Feel expansive across your collarbones here. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame that front foot. Tuck the toes, lift the knee. Step back to your downward facing dog. Again, pedaling it out here if you need to. Check in with your breath again. Check in with your alignment. Inhale the left leg up. Again, pointing the toes, flexing the toes, making circles with your ankle. Bring that left foot to your right glute this time. Again, making circles with the ankle and big circles with the knee. Bring that left leg up to the sky, really reach it up high. Step it through. Drop the knee on the right hand side and the foot. Engage your core, coming up to your crescent lunge. Again, really reaching for the sky. Find length in that side body, reach tall. Inhale as you exhale, angel wings. Give me a slight back bend and lead with the chest. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat, frame that front foot. Tuck the toes, lift the knees. Come back into your downward facing dog. Bend your knees real deeply. Look to the top of your mat. Hop, step, or float to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Heel toe your feet out about a hip distance. That's the length of a dollar bill or your two fists. Bend real deeply in the knees. Bring your torso to rest on the thighs. Grab for opposite elbows and just relax your head and neck down. We're looking for a nice decompression in the spine here. Maybe sway from side to side. Maybe nod your head yes. Maybe shake your head no. Maybe make some circles with your shoulders. Letting go of any tension or stress we might be holding up here. Release the hands down to the mat. Take the opposite grip this time. So whichever hand was on top, put it on bottom. Again, relaxing down, swaying from side to side. Nodding your head yes. Shaking your head no. Making circles with the shoulders again. Release the hands down to the mat. Heel toe your feet back together. Halfway lift up to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Release down. Bring the right hand to the mat. Flat on the mat in front of you and under your face. Bend the right knee a whole lot. Straighten the left. Extend the left arm up to the sky and bring your gaze up towards those left fingertips. Option to stay right here. Option to take that left hand, Bend your elbow and grab for your opposite hip crease, really rotating that hip and shoulder up towards the sky. If you took the half bind, bring that arm back up to reach for the sky. Now fold forward, release everything down. Switching sides, bring the left hand to the mat, bend the left knee a whole lot, straighten the right leg, extend the right arm up, and bring the gaze up towards those fingertips. If you took the half bind on the first side, take the half bind on the second side, reach for that opposite hip crease. Release that arm back up to the sky. Fold forward, come all the way down. Drop the hips, reverse swan dive up, upward salute, really reaching for the sky here. Again, finding length in the side body. Interlace your fingers, point your steeple fingers, and reach tall. Begin to tilt over to the right. Popping that left hip out and finding length in the left side body. Keep the bicep by the ear and make sure your chin is up. You're not tucking it in towards your chest. Breathe deeply here. Inhale. Slowly rise back to center. Again, really reaching for the sky here. Begin to tilt over to the left. Really opening up the right side body. Again, remembering to keep the biceps by the ear and the chin up. Inhale. Come back to center, really reaching for the sky again. As you exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Taking a moment to set an intention or a dedication for today's practice. Inhale, upward salute, reach tall. Exhale, fold forward, release down. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Checking your alignment, make sure the hands are directly below the shoulders. Slightly tuck your tailbone here. We've got one long line of energy from the crown of the head to the heels. Engaging the core and keeping that belly button drawn in. Drop your knees for modified chaturanga. Lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale to your baby cobra. Tops of the feet and the thighs are on the mat. The neck is long, actively pulling your shoulder blades and elbows down and back. Tuck the toes, press into the hands. Come back up to your plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees real deeply. Look to the top of your mat. Hop or step to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift up. Drop your hips. Reverse swan dive up. Upward salute. Reach tall. Exhale. Fold forward. Release down. Plant your hands. Plank pose. Chaturanga down. Inhale. Baby cobra. Tuck the toes. Press into your plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal it out here. Check in with the breath. Bring that right leg high. Listen carefully. Step it through. Drop the back foot flat, about a 40-45 degree angle. Ground down through both feet. Square your hips to the top of the mat. Round up. Bring your biceps to frame your face. And relax the shoulders down for your warrior one. That front knee is directly above the front heel. The back foot's flat on the mat. The weight's distributed evenly. If you need a little bit wider of a stance, you can walk that front foot closer to that long edge of the mat here. Sit down low in that front knee for me. Reach tall. Open it up. Warrior two. The gaze is forward like you just threw a spear. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Flip that front palm, lean forward. The left arm comes to the small of the back. High five the back wall and bring your gaze up for your reverse warrior. Take a big deep breath in. Cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Frame that front foot. Tuck the toes. Step back to your downward facing dog. Check in with your alignment here. Inhale the left leg high. Step it through. Drop the back foot. Round up to warrior one. Biceps frame the face. Check your alignment here. Make sure that front knee is right over the heel and the knee is pointing more towards the pinky side of the foot. You don't want it splaying in. Spark through your fingertips, reach tall. Open it up, warrior two. The gaze is forward. Relax the shoulders. Flip the front palm, lean into it. Bring the right hand down to the small of your back. High five the back wall and bring the gaze up. Reverse warrior. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down, frame that front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Bend your knees real deeply, look to the top of the mat. Hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit down low, keep the weight in your heels. Bring the biceps to frame the face again. When you look down, you should be able to see your toes. Lift your toes up to make sure the weight is still in the heels here. If this is too much on the arms, you can bring them parallel to the mat or into heart center. Sit a little bit lower for me. Release down, forward fold. Heel toe your feet out about a hip distance again. Take your two peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Inhale, halfway lift up to a flat back. As you exhale, hollow out the belly, hinge forward, bending at the elbows, bringing the crown of the head parallel to the floor again. Release the toes. Heel toe your feet back together. Big toes touching, a little space between the ankles. Inhale, halfway lift up. Exhale, fold forward and release down. Drop the hips. Utkatasana, chair pose, reach tall. Remember, keep the weight in the heels. Bring your hands down to heart center. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, look right, twist right. Lock your right elbow to the knee. Actively pressing the hands together, bring the gaze up over that right shoulder. Make sure that your knees stay in a straight line. If the left knee pops up some, pull your hip back. Option to stay here. Option to expand the arms out. Go a little bit deeper in that twist for me if you can. Release down. Forward fold. Heel toe your feet out again about a hip distance. This time, slide your palms underneath of your feet. You want to keep the weight more in the toes here. Begin to hinge forward, bringing the crown of the head down. You can bend the knees a whole lot or you can straighten them, yogi's choice here. Maybe bending the elbows to draw the torso a little closer. Maybe lifting up ever so slightly and giving your hands a little bit of massage with your foot. Doing one at a time. If you've got really good balance, maybe you can lift both heels off the mat at the same time. Just be careful not to fall forward. Go ahead and release the hands out from underneath of your feet. Heel toe the feet back together. Inhale, halfway lift up. Exhale, fold forward, release down. Utkatasana, chair pose, third and final time. Sit down low. Bring the hands into heart center. Inhale to find more length. As you exhale, look left, twist left this time. Locking the elbow and the knee. Bring the gaze over that left shoulder. Keeping your knees in a straight line. If you expanded your arms out on the first side, expand your arms out on the second side. Go deeper into that twist. Release down. Forward fold. Inhale. Halfway lift up. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to your plank pose. Chaturanga down. Inhale to baby cobra. Tops of the feet and the neck is long. Press into the hands, push up to plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Check in with your alignment here in downward facing dog. We're going to change our perspective. Really shine your sit bones up towards the sky. Make sure that your knees are soft. Slowly begin to come down onto your forearms for your dolphin pose. Remembering to breathe here. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Getting all the benefits of inversions right here. Fresh blood rushing into the brain. Slowly with control, push back up to your downward facing dog. Begin to walk your hands back to your feet, coming into your forward fold. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of the mat. Toes are off, heels are in. Sit down low in your Vinyasa squat. You're actively pressing your elbows into your knees and your knees into the elbows. Your hands are at prayer and center. The gaze is straight forward. Both feet are flat on the ground. Envision that your spine is a tree trunk and grow tall through the crown of your head. A deep hip opener here. Breathe into it. Release the hands down to the mat. Bring your hips back up to the sky and begin to heel toe your feet back together, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift up. Exhale, fold forward, release down. Drop your hips. Circle sweep the arms up. Upward salute, reach tall. Exhale, bring the hands down to your side for Tadasana. It's our active standing pose. Palms face forward. Relax the shoulders down and back. Begin to find your Pada Bandha, your foot lock. Rocking back and forth on the feet. Finding stability, maybe lifting the toes, starting at the base of the big toe and going to the base of the pinky toe, down to the heel, around the back of your heel, up back to the base of the big toe and around. Lift the toes up and then let them fall evenly onto the mat, really finding that foot lock there. Once you've found that foot lock and stability, begin to shift the weight into the right foot. Bring the left foot to the inside of the shin or the thigh, moving into our tree pose. Never on the knee here. We want to protect against our knee joints. You can leave the hands down at the side, like Tadasana. You can bring them into heart center. If you really want to challenge, you can let your tree branches sway. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, release out. Wiggle it out a little bit. Find the Pada Bandha again, your foot block. Shifting around on the feet, lifting the toes, and then letting them spread evenly onto the mat. Shifting the weight into the left side. Begin to move into your tree on the left, taking whichever variation speaks to you this morning. Grow tall. Check in with the breath. Release it out. Wiggle it out a little bit. Go ahead and come down onto the mat. Send your legs out in front of you. Bending at the knees. And the feet are flat on the mat. Scoot the sit bones as close to the heels as you can. And roll all the way down onto your back. Again, sliding your sit bones close to the heels. Reach down. Make sure that you can graze the back of your heels with your fingertips. Leave the hands flat on the mat by the hips here. Firmly root down through the feet. Draw the pelvis and your lower back down so that your lower back is flat onto the mat. So when you initially lay here, there's like a little bit of an arch going on in the lower back. Pull that down so it's flat first, and then lift the pelvis up by pushing through the feet, really squeezing the glutes here. Maybe going a little bit deeper by drawing the shoulder blades down and back and interlacing the fingers behind you. Again, make sure you're not clenching the jaw here. You're remembering to breathe and the neck is long. You don't want to scrunch your neck up and your chin in towards your chest. Take another big deep breath in here. Release the hands by your side. Slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Step the feet out to the edges of the mat. Bring your arms out to a T. Just wiper blade your legs from the left and to the right. Bring the feet back to center, keeping the arms at a T. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Now let the knees drop over to the left. Bring your gaze over to the right. If you want to take that left hand and maybe place it on the knees to go a little bit deeper into this twist, you can do that as well. Making sure you keep both shoulder blades flat on the mat though. Slowly release. Bring the knees and the gaze back to center. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop the knees to the right. Bring your gaze to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Extend both legs up towards the sky. Flex the toes in towards your nose. Align your hips in the hip sockets. Setting up for our legs up the wall. If you've got a wall here that you want to use for support, by all means, go for it. Just letting gravity do the work here. You only have 5 minutes a day to do any kind of yoga pose. This should be the pose that you choose. It's amazing for cardiovascular health, helps with insomnia. It's considered the kale of yoga. Begin to engage the core and the lower abdominals. With very little momentum and a whole lot of core strength, keeping the neck neutral, we're going to bring the legs up and over the head, trying to bring the toes to touch the mat behind you. You can bring the hands to the small of the back for more support, or you can extend them straight out for full extension of pose, plow pose. Keep the neck long. Remember to breathe. Wherever you're at in your practice, bring your hands to the small of your back. Slowly begin to push your feet up towards the sky, setting up for our shoulder stand. We want one long line of energy from the shoulders to the toes. Again, keeping the neck long here. Remember to breathe. Reversing the flow of lymph in the body when we do this. This is awesome for immunity. Spread your legs, bend your knees, roll your spine towards your face, and bring the knees to frame your ears or as close to it as you can for your deaf man's pose. Slowly with control, keeping the knees bent. Lower down one vertebrae at a time. Trying to count every single vertebrae as it goes down. Again, keeping the knees bent, bring the feet to the mat last, nice and slow here. Once both feet have reached to the mat, bring them in towards your chest. Grab for opposite forearms, elbows or wrists. Squeeze everything in. Bring your head in towards your knees. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. When we squeeze like this, we're wringing out any toxins that we've got left over in the body, specifically the liver and the kidneys. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Take a big, deep breath in. And as you exhale, release everything out. Bring your legs long. Walk your shoulders down away from your ears. Let your feet fall wide. Close your eyes. Begin to relax your face. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders. Feel the arms falling heavy by your side. Begin to notice the rise and the fall of the belly with every exhale that you take. Feel yourself falling heavier into the mat. Relax the thighs. Unlock your knees. Relax the shins, the calves. Feel the feet fall heavy towards the earth. For the next few minutes, just let your mind and body be still, absorbing our practice. Wherever your attention may have drifted, bring it back to the rise and the fall of the belly. Maybe wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Turning your head from left to right. Now reach really tall overhead, giving yourself a morning stretch from fingertips to toes. Bringing awareness back into the full body. Slowly moving on to the fetal side of your choice, using your arm as a pillow. Smile because you gave yourself this time today. When it feels good, pushing yourself back up to an easy seat. Still keeping the eyes closed or downcast. Bring your hands into heart center. Namaste means that the light in me honors the light in you. Thank you for letting me guide you through your moving meditation today. Namaste.